Hello, one and all. Welcome to episode 3 of Dog Rambles. I'm your host, Lepidoptera, using they, them pronouns. Today is the 23rd of February, 2024. Today's fun fact is that, you know all those citruses that exist? Originally, there were only 4. All existing types of citrus fruits are crossbreeds from the original 4. The original 4 were the pomelo, the mandarin, the citron, and the macrantha. So it means like limes didn't exist, lemons didn't exist, oranges didn't exist. It just didn't exist originally, and so most of the citruses we eat today, actually, all the citruses we eat today, because I'm like 90% sure that like even the ones that I mentioned, the 4 original ones we eat today aren't the actual original ones. They're just engineered versions of them, because everything that's on the consumer market, when it comes to food, but also when it comes to everything, but we're talking about food right now, is heavily genetically engineered to be more profitable. And who cares if it's bad for the environment or for the people? Profit is everything. Guys, did you know that I hate capitalism? Speaking of that, last episode I somehow managed to not mention my absolute hatred of capitalism even once. Fascinating. To be fair, last episode was a bit of a shit show. Like, I listened through it, and the last, 6th of it, excluding the extra bit, is completely inaudible. I knew what I was saying, and I still didn't understand what I was saying when listening back to it. I don't know, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to make sure it's better today. And not breathing the mic as much. Still figuring this out, just remember that. Well, yesterday, once I was re-listening to that episode, I was playing Minecraft Championship Island, as I've been doing, while I re-listen to these episodes, because I do have to re-listen to them to make sure there's, not any big information that gives me away, I guess. Don't really care about that, because then nobody is listening to these. All the views are on these videos are of me, because nobody wants to listen to these. Not that I actually care. But also just before I upload something, I have to listen through it, right? I'm not just gonna get home having recorded, just boom, okay, onto YouTube it goes, because what I do, even if I were willing to do that, I do forget what I say during these, so I have to note down the main 2 or 3 topics, which I think I did pretty well. It's kind of hard isolating them all, considering how much I jump around. Considering how much я сказала фу, пошли. Considering how much I jump around these, I know in yesterday's episode I was just rambling on and on and on. I barely mentioned the Magnus Protocol near the start. Then near the end of this episode I was like, oh right, I was just talking about the Magnus Protocol. Then I jumped back to the first topic of the podcast. Despite being right at the end. Yeah. That's just kind of what happens. That's the whole point of rambling in it. Just going on and on and on and on. It's really windy out today. So I'm wearing both my hoods. I have my hoodie, which is one of my most prized possessions. I somehow mixed together the word treasured and prized. Don't know how. Trees would have been a better combination, but whatever. Ship name of the word prized and treasured. Okay, that's cursed thought. I really love this hoodie. It means a lot to me. I don't really take good care of it. I wear it all the time, but that's the whole point of owning things, using them. It's even though it's really important to me, I am going to keep wearing it and maybe fuck it up a bit, because that's the whole point of owning things. It's just as I said. not gonna own something that I really care about and not use it. Like, sure, it might get wrecked, destroyed, but that just means that's just proof of the fact that I loved it and used it and didn't just put it away in the closet or on a shelf where I barely look at it. At least that's how I see the whole thing. So my dog is not stopping to eat grass today. We're fortunate. I can't stand still for very long periods of time, so my dog does decide to stop and eat grass. It's annoying on some level because I just have to stand there and watch her and slowly die. She takes a really long while sometimes. Luckily, I don't think I have to worry about that until like at least another month. I still don't know how the weather functions here, despite being 3 years since I moved here. Alright, it's really windy out, so the sound quality is somehow even worse than usual, then you know why. I need to check. Okay. A couple of days ago, when I was recording the first episode, because I'm holding my phone upside down to record this, because my mic is on the bottom, right? And in my phone case, I have one of those silly wallet phone cases. My dog is looking ahead like there's somebody there. I don't see anybody, but we'll see. There's nobody behind me either. Oh well. My phone case is one of those like silly flip phone cases that has a wallet on one side. Wallet thing. That's where I keep my student ID. And while I'm holding my phone upside down, apparently it decides to fall out sometimes. I do these dog walks in the evening. I get 20-30 usually. And so the next morning when I was on my way to school to the bus stop, I just found my student ID laying on the ground. I didn't even notice it falling out. But I found it, put it back on my phone, and we were all good. But now I'm a lot more on edge. Just keeping my finger right under the bottom end of the phone, so if anything does fall out, I'll notice. Hopefully. Not sure that I will after here yesterday. Oh boy, it was shocking finding it, because I was rushing to the bus stop because I'm almost always late. Almost late. It's annoying. I have time management issues. Don't at me. And so just imagine me stopping in the road going, is that my fucking student ID? Beat up on the ground, go like, yep, it is. Covered in rain. Just wipe it off, put my stuff in my phone. Keep fucking running. I did not miss the bus that day. Just good. I am not the anime protagonist running to school with toast in my mouth, about to get hit by a truck and get isekai. Though I wish I were. I would do anything to do that because how about we save my constant existential dread and nihilism for at least until after episode 5, alright? I'm not in the mood to give myself depression again today. So I'm actually in a pretty good mood today. So as all my friends know, my IRL friends at least, giving me chalk markers is a bad idea, because I will just end up drawing on myself like a lot. I mean, my entire arms covered from like tips of my fingers to at least halfway up my oh god, what do you call the part of the arm that isn't the forearm or the hand? Because at the top part of the arm is the forearm. Oh, the wind is really strong. Then the hand. I don't know, you know what part. So I'm just gonna count the whole fucking arm. At least 4/5 of my arm just covered. I mean, literally covered, every single centimeter covered, and just drawings and stuff. Oh my, Rядом мы приходим. Usually have like several drawings of flowers or plants or leaves because I really like green and plants are green. So I don't like plants, but they're fun to draw because they're green. Not that plants can't be any other color, but just what comes in mind first, because when you're drawing vines or the stems of flowers or whatever, it's a lot of like curling lines and they just crisscross over each other. So that's the part of it that I like, is the drawing lines on myself, because it's a good sensory thing, I think. One time, Chimera, she brought an entire bag of chalk markers to school because she needed them for a project, and I just kind of stole them from her for 3/4 of the school day. I sure as fuck spent every single spare second of that day doodling on myself. Had to go to the bathroom once. And this was last year, by the way. I have to clarify that because this school year so far, I have not gone to the school washrooms a single time yet, and I'm planning to keep that streak up. So I'm just clarifying. This was last year. I have not broken my streak, and school washrooms are shit. It's not that I don't feel safe in them, it's that my school doesn't have a gender neutral bathroom. At least one that isn't on the first fucking floor, like outside the school building. I am not going there. I'm gonna wait until home so I can piss some. Yeah, no. My legs already hurt like shit, and all my classes are on the 3rd floor. I am not going all the way down to the 1st floor and then way outside the school just to piss and then go all the way back up. But no. So, yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Right. So last year when this happened, the chalk markers, Chimera let me the bag of chalk markers. I drew like all over my arms, sort of on my legs too, but not really because I wear skinny jeans and I can't really fold them up that much. Plus they would have gotten dirty because they're black jeans. The inside of my cardigan got a bit covered in chalk, but only a little bit because I pushed my sleeves up. It was a cardigan that I had crocheted, so the sleeves are pretty big, pretty wide, girthy, if you will. There was plenty of space to push them up if it got weird. So yeah, I had to go to the washroom. Went to the washroom, then went to wash my hands. It looked like I'd murdered somebody who had green blood. I was just washing my hands free of the murder. Because I went to wash them, the chalk marks just like even on my palms and the back of my hands just came spilling off, and the whole sink was covered in green, and they couldn't even. I tried to get it off, but I'm not gonna leave a washroom looking like that, even if it is a full washroom. I'm not one of those arseholes. At least I try not to be. And I try my best to get it off, but then tried my best to get it off, but then what happened is I couldn't get it all off. Then apparently somebody that I know saw it, like once I was actually in the washroom, saw it, was like, "What's this Lepidoptera that did this?" Because like they recognized I had a lot of green on my arms that day. It was amusing. So now Chimera is like giving you chalk markers is a shit idea, and I'm well aware, and I sometimes like bringing it up because it's funny to me. It's just such a nice feeling. I can't explain. Like, it's not even about the having the chalk or whatever on my arms. It's never like pretty big tips. It's just drawing on myself. I don't know. It's nice. It doesn't really work the same with markers or pens. It kind of works the same with markers, like normal markers, not chalk markers. It's different, very different. Pens, I only draw like on my left hand usually, because what I'm thinking. I write using a fountain pen, right? It's green ink. It's Lamy Safari matte charcoal color. It's my favorite thing ever. I got it for New Year's I got it for New Year's, last New Year's, 2023 New Year. I was about to say a month and a half ago, but it's it's almost the end of February. That's just, even if we're counting this as the end of February, it's only been 2 months. That is only 1/3 of a half. 1/6 of a year, I can't say. Okay, fine. 7/6 of a year ago. 7/6 of a year ago, I got the Lamy Safari in Mott charcoal fountain pen. I use green ink in it. Usually whatever I can find on Amazon. But like, I don't really like the I've wanted to get private reserve spearmint ink, spearmint green ink. But then that was on Amazon, and all the other sites have the price in USD, and I don't know. I don't trust them. I don't trust prices that listings in USD. So I ended up going for my first ink was Wordsworth in black, racing green, which was really cool. It was a green that didn't look natural, but in a good way, I guess. It wasn't neon. It was just weird on some level. I liked it. Okay, we're coming up to the soccer field now, so I'll have to stay quiet because there are people outside the soccer field. Let's see who they are today. I don't know, I think they're leaving actually. Oh gosh, that's a lot of people. You should cross the road. Nope, there's no sidewalk on the other side. Then my second ink, which I got for this New Year's, the 2024 New Year's. People.
Yeah, take care of you, mate.
Hello. I think there was some sort of soccer meet, because there's just a bunch of parents walking away from the soccer field, and everybody's parking cars around, and I don't know, I don't like this. Right, my second ink was, I forget the name of it, but it was a green from like an actual company that had reviews and people knew of it. I do my research on my inks, okay? It's pretty. It's Sherwood Green by Diamine. That's the one. It's pretty good. I haven't used it that much because I had a bit of the racing green left over. But I couldn't pull it all out the bottle because I use bottled inks. Obviously, not many places sell like capsules of green ink. That's just kind of odd. Besides, I like my options. I like having options. Person. I like having options. So because I couldn't draw all the racing green out of the bottle, what I did was I did something very ill-advised. So if you're a fountain pen newbie, take my advice. Do not mix inks. Took a very calculated risk. I used a separate container, and then I did a stupid thing and put it right into my fountain pen right away without letting it sit for a day. So what I did was I took the racing green, I put it in a tiny little gum container, because that was the best of what I had on hand, and I poured it all of it in, and then I poured a little bit of Sherwood green in there. It's not a little bit, but it's a substantial amount, but also not that much. There was still a lot left in the bottle. And I mixed them together really well. And so what you usually do when you mix inks is, don't just do your research on what inks are okay to mix. There are some inks that are known to react badly with each other. And never mix shimmering inks with normal inks. And don't mix noodlers. Do not mix noodlers. Usually it's good practice to only mix inks that are from the same brand, from the same collection of inks, but otherwise my brain's lagging. But so it's generally ill-advised to mix outside from those, but if you are going to do that, the general practice is to mix them together in a separate container thoroughly and let them sit for at least 1 day, but 4 is preferred. And then you put it in a fountain pen that isn't like your main favorite fountain pen. If the ink is still liquid and hasn't solidified, because you don't never know how the chemicals from different brands are going to react with each other, or the pigments or whatever. Especially if you're mixing like two different colors. I was mixing two greens, so I knew the end result was most likely going to be green or brown, but most likely green. The Sherwood green wasn't that much darker than the racing green, so it was unlikely that I was going to get like an ugly brown color. Very unlikely. But and then you put it in a fountain pen that isn't your favorite, and then if it hasn't solidified. If it has solidified, then do not mix those two inks. If it has any weird gunk in it, do not mix those two inks. If there's something weird about it, do not mix those two inks. So I made a stupid idiot mistake. Actually, no, I made a stupid idiot move. It wasn't a mistake, I did it very intentionally. And I mixed it, stared at it, and then immediately put it into my beloved one and only fountain pen. Thankfully for me, nothing bad happened. The resulting ink, which I like calling Racing Wood Green, is a color that I really fucking like. It's like the Sherwood Green, but it's lighter, but still looks natural and nascishine. I know there's a word in English for nascishine, but it doesn't feel the same, so I'm just going to say nascishine. Saturated, I think is the word. I don't know. And the resulting Racing Wood Green it's a good color. I really like it. It's just like a bit more runny than the two inks from which it came from, but it's okay. It still dries relatively well, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think as soon as I run out of the charge that I have filled my fountain pen with right now, I'm gonna switch to Sherwood Green, because I don't think the Racing Wood Green dries fast enough for what I'm doing. Like, because all of my classes are like, use a pen, use a pencil, not a pen. Usually it's fine just using a pen, because I'm fine with scratching out mistakes that I make on papers and stuff, but I have maths and I have calculus, I have maths and physics. I have calculus next year. What the fuck am I on? Right. And for physics, you're drawing graphs. You obviously kind of need to use a pencil. But then use a pen for everything else. And for maths, it's also a little advice to use a pen, but I am confident in my maths ability. And once again, I don't mind scratching things out, like, at all. And I usually do my maths on a sticky note, like, for tests and stuff. I usually just kind of sneak sticky notes into the test, write stuff down on them. My teachers usually don't mind, and then I put the answer down so I don't have to scratch much out on places other than the sticky notes. Then I get to turn the resulting sticky notes, like the resulting used up sticky notes, into paper cranes. I have 1,000 paper cranes sitting in a box in my room. I don't fucking know what to do with them. But, oh, there's a dog going in a different direction from me, so it's fine, but, doggo. I think it's the same breed as Uma. Uma Fu. Fu. Пошли. Рядом. So because of all that, I've been needing to, like, use my beloved fountain pen a lot less, so I'm kind of just gotten unused to it, I think. No, it's that, but also, because I don't have much of the Racing Wood Green, so filling up my fountain pen's a nightmare, because it runs out of ink. Uma, куда ты тянешь? Uma. Because it runs out of ink much faster, so it's really annoying. So I've just kind of been using a gel pen that I really like. It feels like a roller ball, but it's not. It's a gel pen, and I really like it. My Chimera says it's weird, but she's the one that writes in .27 roller ball pens. Those actually are some really good roller ball pens. I have several of them. They multiply. She has some good stationery. So I've just been used to the gel pen, which writes very differently from a fountain pen. So I just need to convince my brain to go back to writing with fountain pen because I love my fountain pen so much. This shit happens all the time. Why am I rambling about fountain pens again? I don't know. I don't remember. I genuinely don't. I know I mentioned something relevant to fountain pens. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go on a quick tangent about this, and then here we are, half a mountain later. I really like I did so much research on fountain pens. I love them. I don't really see the point of getting more than one. Because like, why would I need to use more than one ink at a time? Two, if I need to use if I want to switch to a different color, I'll just I'll just finish up with using what I've got in one fountain pen, whether it be on doodling or just putting it back in the bottle, which is also bad practice. Be careful with doing that. Just advice that I disregard myself, but still be careful if you're doing that. Sometimes I've heard this from others. I don't have one of these myself because I literally only have two inks. Actually, yeah, two inks. One of them is a composite ink and one's an original ink, an actual ink, an official ink. Because I don't have the racing green anymore because I turned it into the composite ink. Right. It's maybe a good idea to just have a giant jar where you pour if you only have one fountain pen but you want to switch out, don't want to put the ink back in the bottle, but also don't want to just spend all the ink, use up all the ink in the fountain pen, so you can just put it in a giant jar, and eventually have a giant jar of mixed ink, and it'll probably be brown, but maybe it'll probably be brown, but it'll be a really unique brown, but also high chances of gunk, so be careful with that. Yeah, personally, as I was saying, I don't really see the point of having more than one fountain pen, because I don't mind spending a lot of time just doodling to use up all the fountain pen ink in the pen at the time before I switch colors, because then I just flush it out, switch colors, and it's great, it's grand. And even then, I'll probably only switch colors after I've run out of ink, because why would I switch colors while in the middle of having ink? I don't really like change, if you can't tell. I like writing my one color, but I like some change sometimes. But it's only if it's change that I'm prepared for and expect. Which changing pen colors would be an expected decision on my part, and a calculated decision on my part, one which I expect it and enjoy. So that it's fine in that case. That car sounds like it has rain on it, but it's not raining right now. I am all too familiar with the sound of rain on cars for some reason, and I don't know, it's odd. Fountain pens are great. I love them. I don't know how I ended up being somewhat of a stationery nerd, but I guess I did. I don't even remember how I got into fountain pens in the first place. I say fountain pens despite only having one fountain pen and two inks, one of which just completely goes against the all advice of fountain pen people. But I know a lot, in my opinion. I'm not... Yeah. I would be a pen and ink reviewer, because I do not have standards. Well, I kind of do. One of my friends, let's call her Kitsune. One of my friends, Kitsune, she writes fountain pens too, but they're shitty $2 pens from fucking Staples or something probably, and oh god, they're shit. The tines are all scratchy and stuff. The ink flows really badly, and one of the pens just falls apart whenever you touch it. And I don't know how she handles it. So that's obviously she found defense. She acknowledges that it's cheap and shit and bad. But I don't know. I do not know how she handles it. I simply don't. It's like I would be capable of reviewing fountain pens like those, but that's not all too difficult because like anybody who's even written with a fountain pen, like even thrice in their life, would go like, oh yeah, this is a bad experience compared to a Lamy Safari, which is a really good pen. I love my Lamy Safari so much. I love it. I love it so much. If I were to get another fountain pen, it would also be a Lamy Safari, probably in the lime green color. I love green, if you haven't noticed by my rambling about green fountain pen inks. Oh, God. Oh, right, I remember how I was I didn't even get around to my main story of today. Right, so essentially I found tempera paint sticks in my closet. And then I did with them what I do with chalk markers, and I drew all over myself. And as I'm walking right now, my entire left arm is a rainbow. Because, fuck, it looks so cool in my opinion. I really don't care if it's bad for me or it looks weird or some shit. It's fun. It's my body. I don't care. If I die earlier, then so be it. And I've got a bunch of like vines and flowers on my left leg. I've got a giant yellow flower on my right leg, and I've got a fish on my right arm. So we're at the mailbox. Okay. Place your bets as to whether or not we have mail. Finding the mail key. All right. Place your bets. Opening the mail in 3, 2, 1. No mail today on February 23rd, 2024. I find it amusing how the way I say there has been no mail today on February 23rd, 2024, because that's the exact same way that Daily Silksong News is delivered, I think. So if that sounds familiar, that's where I accidentally picked it up from. Oh, God. I could just make another channel like Dog Walk Rambles. Has there been mail today? And just put the clips. Just like the exact same, very similar thumbnails with the daily Silksong News. Just like giant bold letters, no or yes or kinda, maybe in yellow. Except I wouldn't do the unhinged game show thing they do these days. I don't know, this is a silly idea. I if people want the mail news, they could just listen to this podcast. Just skip to probably around the 31 minute mark. I've been finding out my dog walks like almost the exact same length, which is fascinating. To be fair, I've been going on these for a really long time. It's taken me much longer than you think it has to come up with this idea. And alright. We are home. We are home. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. It has been very appreciated. I love you. Thank you for listening. I already said that. It has been the 3rd episode of the Dog Walk Rambles podcast. Bye-bye.